What's up, everybody? It's not going to be a Sunday sermon today, but the people, we're going to have a conversation. That's what I decided to do. We're going to have a conversation. A few things came up yesterday that were totally unexpected, so I didn't get to prepare for the show that I thought I was going to be able to do because of me stepping in to help a friend at the last minute. But I thought it would be a good opportunity because we haven't done this for a while, where you guys kind of lead the discussion. You talk about what's important to you. You ask questions. You put forth theories, your thoughts, your observations. Share something that you've read, something that you've heard, a question that you have about something. And then me, along with everybody else who's listening, can chime in on it. We can share our opinions. We can share our thoughts. Be kind of like a hen party. You know, people spill tea. People talk about stuff that's important to them. And I thought it would be a great idea to do this today for a couple hours. Let's see what we get. This is, let me put this link in here. So if you want to share your thoughts, call in and share them. This is what you're going to do. Just click that link on your phone or your computer, as long as you have your headset in. And then it puts you right into the platform so you can talk about, whatever it is important to you, and everybody can chime in. I thought, this will be great. This will be fun. This will be like, like bonding, sisterhood, all that kind of stuff. What's up, Vanna, Tracy? Oh, Tracy, girl, we have about 1,000 videos on, well, no, not that. At least 100 videos, though, to talk about narcissists. But yeah, that is a common thing, unfortunately. And it seems like, in spite of all the work that I've done, it's like so many women, especially the young ones, haven't heard of this channel. And so they kind of stumble on it. I don't know what I could do to help promote it more, to get, the information out in front of people. I just don't know what else to do. I guess it would have to be depend on you all to post it around, because it's way more to y'all than it is me. You can post it around wherever you go on the internet, and then maybe it'll become something that the women who need that information will be able to see. I don't know what else to do from, just from my point of view. And Candace, she'd be busy doing her stuff. They travel all the damn time. So she's not really, she does this stuff, but other than that, she's not really on the internet. So it's kind of a challenge. But I implore you, if you believe in the work that's going on here, you believe in the information, that the information here helps you, please share a link to your favorite video, or 2 or 3 or 4, around on the internet, the places you go, so the young ladies that come into contact with you on those platforms can get the information that they need to make better choices going forward. So they can learn about narcissists. They can learn about self-esteem. They can learn about how to make themselves establish and maintain boundaries, how they can get themselves together to not need validation from outside themselves. These are very important issues, especially for teenagers. And it's extremely important. But like I said, I need your help. I can't do it by myself. I cannot do it by myself. Christian said, I heard of your post growth. Okay. Huh. Yeah, it's really interesting. I try to find out sometimes when I see new people here, ask them, how did you hear about the channel? And sometimes it's in the most odd ways that I would have never thought of, and they heard about it from somebody else. So yes, it's definitely tea season. There's the link again. If you have an issue that you want to jump this discussion off with, click that and let's talk. Okay, let's talk. Now, before we get started, let me see. I found something. What did I find just to kind of get things going off, jumping off? Um, you know how dudes always talk about feminism, how feminism has destroyed the black family, especially. Oh my God, they cry about that all the time. Men don't know what to do about it and all this kind of stuff here. Um, it's the kind of thing that I looked on the line and it's like, this is what we call now called feminism in our modern age. What used to be called uh, daughters of decadence in the Victorian age, which started in 1837. So women have been bucking against marriage and control of men since the 1800s. So for men to think now, new guys to think that this just started in the 1960s are so confused. They don't even understand what's happening. So let me see. Oh, somebody called Tori. Let's see. Let me get Tori on here. What's up, girl? Oh, wait.
Hey, how's it going?
Um, Headphones so I could hear you. Usually I don't have to wear these during the show.
Yep, and I want to know if people can hear me. I'm not sure if people can hear me either.
I can hear you because I can hear you.
Hey, I love you so, so much. I love you. I love you. I love you.
Oh, it's always good to get love, versus people
Yes,
sending
like
you some hate emails. I get
yeah,
plenty of those too.
I found you. I'm 36 and you truly helped me uninstall the patriarchal programming that I didn't know was in my subconscious. So I love this show. I love the sisterhood and it does help you because for me, you know the spiritual things. You're pretty attuned to the spirits. Like I'm like, damn, I got a heart chakra blockage because I'm trying to pluck and tweeze and put stuff together and try to make myself to be this person for a man when it's
Oh,
like,
girl,
I,
no.
yes, and I did my prayers. So I was listening to you one day, right? Because I listened to you. I know you in the black church, y'all, a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But I listened to you like the Church of Dead. And one day I was like, I was like, hell yeah, Deborah is the bomb.com. And then next thing you know, I heard the Lord say, yes, Victoria, there are no princess pieces on the chessboard. You just had a video on queens.
Queen.
I'm like, you need to step into your queendom and stop giving a fuck about men, what they think. You need a woman to keep it real because sometimes women don't keep it real because I don't know why, but it's like, no, I am okay. And you also mentioned like when it comes to like your living where women will move in with men versus just for me, luckily, I have sisters. And so, you can live with your sisters.
There you
I
go.
help my auntie and I love my family. And I love how you reinforce that with the women in my family, how like we help each other. And so when I took the survey, I noticed that one of the options was being mentally stable and financially stable for 2023. I think with your demographic, like older women, of course, they got the money, but sometimes you really do look at that man for that security and you could really get it yourself and stop giving a fuck. Like, one thing I saw Amanda Gowen, I think her name was, she was doing a poem for the presidential inauguration. And I was asking a gentleman friend of mine, I'm like, look at her. How did she get to this amount of greatness? And he was like, not worried about these niggas. And so
That's, in a nutshell, that's it. And I think that is the downfall of most women. They expend way too much energy, A, thinking about and worrying about what other people think, and two, worrying about trying to get the positive regard of a man, not just a
mm,
specific man, not the man that's right for them, not the man with the qualities who's a stellar dude, but just any random. And it's like, what are you doing? He's garbage. He's trash. He's a dusty. Why are you trying
but
working yourself over and bending backwards trying to get his attention?
see, that's the thing though. This is where I'm struggling with, Miss Cooper. Okay, so after you get out, I uninstalled the programming. I went into the dark space, the forest, and now that I look for men to have character, it's like, damn, they not even, where's the etiquette? Where's the character? And then I feel myself going back into this because I'm single. I don't have no kids. I feel myself going back into that space because it's like they can't even. And Lord, I'm not talking about every man. I pray for everybody to
Oh,
get
no,
what they
don't worry
want.
about that. We don't worry about the every sentence on this channel.
Okay,
Anybody who
yes.
gets in their sense of feelings about that, just whatever.
But I'm just like, just keeping your word. Like you can't even keep your word. Like it's like, damn, I see why women just ask for money because it's like it's nothing else there. Fuck it, just pay me. Because if I look at you for your character and your balls to stand on as a man, it's really not there. That's what I'm praying about right now. That's the trouble that I've been falling into. So, I'm still gonna work on my self-improvement and study your videos. By the time I'm done with your videos, I'll have like a like how they have an exhaustive concordance with the Bible. Like I'll have a secondary book like notes from Deborah Cooper, like from all of because I tell everybody about you. I don't know, but I be shouting you out on the internet because there'll be these cute little women's faces about taking baths and self-care. I'm like, hell no. You want some real stuff? You need to go on
I
Deborah
mean, that's
Cooper's
part of it,
channel.
you know what I mean? That's part of it. You do need to do self-care. I mean, relaxing and treating yourself well, treating your skin well, proper nutrition. I talk about that stuff all the time. Exercise, just getting your proper rest. Those are the things that are going to make you be old like me and still have nice skin. Still have all
Praise the
your
Lord.
nerves, all your teeth and stuff. You have to take care of yourself and start when you're young. But that's not the whole thing. That's not the crux of being feminine and being a woman of power, putting on perfume and high heels. I mean, that's cute, but how far is that going to really take you in life and what's they going to do for you long term? That's right now. And I'm not saying anything wrong. I like to dress up and look cute too and flip my hair and put on my lashes and this whole thing too. But when it gets down to it, I'm gonna go toe to toe with you and it's gonna get gully. And so right. So
Period.
we're not gonna worry about all of that. But if
Yeah,
I
I'm
meet
still
the kind of
working
guy
through
who's
this.
worthy of all of that, then yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah, that's what I'm like. I was trying to figure out if it was me or if I'm being a little too harsh because I'm like,
No,
I'm okay, because I will
don't
cut
ever
your
think
ass
that you're
off.
being too harsh. Don't ever think that you're being too harsh. What we're running into now is a lot of men who are used to women. Well, Vanna and I were just talking about this a few minutes ago. The men who are used to women settling, women who don't have self
Mhm,
esteem, women who don't have any personal fortitude, women who don't
mhm,
make demands, women who don't even say no and stop. So they're used to
that's
that
me.
kind of thing. And so when they meet a woman who says, wait, well, hold up, home skillet, they don't know what to do with the guy like, with a woman like that. So you don't settle for that kind of trash. You don't settle for a man who doesn't treat you well. You don't settle for a guy who talks badly to you, who treats you poorly, who doesn't keep his word. If you can't trust a man to keep his word about something simple like calling or being on time, how are you supposed to trust him with your heart? And please do not trust
Mhm,
him with your body.
mm. Yeah, that's the biggest thing. Yeah, I find myself, I always listen to you because I just appreciate you so much, and I tell everybody about you. But when I look at the things that you say do, I feel offended every 5 seconds. I'm like, damn, is it me? What's wrong with these people? Like, you can't keep your word, or I'm not a prostitute, or why do I owe you my vagina? Why can't we
Okay,
just
wait.
go get some lunch?
Let me stop you right now. I wanted to keep this show PG, so watch what you say, because Google is very strict about what they will and will not allow. So be kind of I want everybody know that trying to be PG, and it's too late now, but we kind of watch that as we go forward. Okay.
Yeah,
So we
okay.
know
I
we
am
use
so
we
sorry.
use euphemisms like I don't know the
Cookie.
JJ or like that was an Oprah phase the JJ.
Yeah, so yeah, I was just wondering about that. I always look to you for reassurance just to make sure I'm not being so harsh because I'm a cutter like you. Like when I listen to your advice columns and stuff, like you be like, cut them off immediately. And that's me because I'm a Gemini. So, I'll be like, bye. They be like, what happened, baby? My bad, my bad. And I tell them, you got one time to get it wrong, two times to get it right.
Girl,
That's it.
okay, it's not like you're dealing with teenagers anymore. That's the part that gets me so like eye rolls. These are men in their 30s and 40s. I mean, you're younger than me, so 30s, 40s. I'm dealing with dudes in their 50s. And it's like, okay, if you don't know how to act at this point, what am I supposed to do with you? I'm not here to teach you how to act or how to treat women. This is something that you should already know. You must already know it. I'm not here to provide you with lessons. I'm not raising some other woman's son, you 50 something years old. I'm not doing that. So what you get is put over there in the trash pile and we move on. And the only
Yes.
thing, you might want to do, I don't know if you open to that, is, open your broaden your horizons. Don't be just dealing with black men.
You're
Don't
right.
do that. Open your
Okay.
broaden your horizons to men who meet your standards, no matter what this is on the outside. To me, this is like when you buy a house and people who are all entranced by the paint job of the house.
Yes.
Okay, but what's about the foundation? What about the plumbing? Is the electrical wiring is shot? I mean, are the walls solid? Is there black mold in there? I mean, what's going on the inside? To me, that's where women should concentrate their energy. I mean, of course, you want somebody who's, you find attractive, don't get me wrong, but there has to be more to him than just what he looks like. And that is also is, considered what his ethnicity is. If he comes along and he's treats you well, I don't care what he is. You investigate further. You might throw him back too, but at least you would have given yourself the opportunity to explore another avenue of a man who came in, talking right and acting right. You don't shoot him down because you just like, oh well, I just want a black man, or I just, want whatever. You go for the man who treats you well, the man who appreciates you, the man who respects you, and then that's who you go with. So but that's an uphill climb. It's better now. But when I first started in this field 30 years ago, trying to get black women to consider a man of another race was like pulling teeth. But over the last couple of decades, it's kind of changed. People are much more open.
Yes, thank you so much. Yeah, I'm like, I'm trying to figure out if I'm being mean or something, because I'm good. And just
Nope.
today, like when I clicked the confidence, I chose confidence because now I'm trying to get stronger in being by myself. Because people be like, "What? You're 36, you don't have kids. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you?" And I just want to be confident, like I am happy by myself. I don't need a raise. I don't want I'm okay. I'm
Girl,
okay.
you're all right. You're a cutie pie. Just work out there and work it. Just have confidence in yourself and broaden your horizons and don't worry about these knuckleheads, okay?
Oh yes, thank you so much. I love you so much.
Thank you. I'll talk to you
I
later.
love you. Okay, all right.
Bye bye. Oh, she was so cute. Okay, there's the link if you want to call in too and make your comments online. Shut up, Sliver. Okay, leave it to Sliver to just go right there. But it's true though. I can't tell you how many men, and this is when I was in my 30s, that was already taking, like blue pills because they had hypertension, they had diabetes, they had high cholesterol, they had heart disease, they was obese or, too much fatty lipids in their bloodstream. So they was at risk for a heart attack or stroke at 38, 39, 40 years old. Black men need to do better. What you talking about, Ravania? They say you just made you Ravania. Black don't crack. She looks cute. She got it going on. Yes, nice. Ooh, girl, nice. That is just a dreadful word. It's like whoever thought of that needs to just just go away somewhere, drive and blow away. That's what they need. All right, let me talk about this until y'all come up with something that you want to talk about. Silver says she's trying to sneak. You trying to sneak and listen? This is hilarious. Yeah, I thought she was too. It's like, shoot. She got a secret ear, but see, you're gonna bust out laughing. They're gonna be like, "What you laughing at?" You're like, "Oh, nothing, nothing." So you're gonna look crazy. Okay, so let me talk about this because I thought this was hecka interesting. Okay, what men complain about feminism, the battle for women to get out from under men and stop being economically dependent on them and let men put a foot on their neck started in the 1800s. This is what's called the Victorian era. Daughters of Decadence was what it was called, and it started with the reign of Queen Victoria, who was in power in the UK, England in 1837. She died in 1901. So the what they call the shoot, all of a sudden my mind went blank. But anyway, the women who started fighting to vote in the United States and to, be able to run for office and to be able to wear pants and all this kind of stuff, all of that started later in this country. But yeah, so these women were fighting to have all kinds of rights and stuff as far back as 1837. And so men in that day, as far back as 1837 now, were complaining that that women trying to rise up and be independent threatened the accepted view of masculinity. We're going to talk more about this on Thursday because this was a show, I just got so thrown off by what happened yesterday. But this is the thumbnail for the show that we're going to be doing on Thursday. Hopefully, you can make it. If you're not already subscribed to this channel, please hit the subscription button along with the instant notification bell to get you a reminder so that you don't miss it. So it's going to be a good, right before Christmas. It'll be my Christmas gift to you. We're going to explore the way the society is, the way that men and boys are changing, and what it means for women and girls. For women and girls who want to have partners who are equals, who want to have partners that they can marry, who want to have partners that they can respect, who will be leaders in their household, leaders of families, just leaders in society, period. Good fucking luck with that, okay? Because the way that, and these are male psychologists and social researchers who I'm going to be quoting, and what they have to say about society and men, and then we're just not talking about in the United States, but Canada, UK, but basically worldwide, is not good. It's not good. I have a couple of theories that I will share with you about why that is. But this kind of dovetails to the show we did a couple of months ago on Greg Mattis's article on how men are falling behind in women educationally and what that means for society. But they're not falling behind just educationally. It's a whole bunch of different ways. So we're going to talk about all of that on Thursday. But I just wanted to point this out, this fight for women against male domination and the patriarchy, male rule for no reason other than the fact that they have testosterone flowing in their bodies, because it doesn't make them better than women, which is what's being shown now by the strides that women have made in just 50 years. Men have been in the workforce. Men have ruled at college. Women couldn't even go to college, right? We couldn't be doctors and engineers and all this kind of stuff. We could only be nurses and secretaries and teachers. But once women broke those barriers, we have just like totally steamrolled through society and steamrolled men. We beat them at their own game. Why did they try to keep women down so long? Because they already knew women were superior. Women were more intelligent, more resilient, stronger emotionally, and more intelligent. So when you put all that together, the only way that they can keep us down now is by not paying us what we're worth when we have the same job as them. There, from what I understand, is like a 9 to 10% pay difference when a woman does the exact same job as a man. In spite of all these laws, that still exists, 9 to 10%. Of course, it's fallen. It used to be 20, 30%. Now it's only 9 to 10, but still. What's that all about? So you guys got some comments? Let me see. I'm going to look in here. Let's see what she has to say. She says, men need to marry. But men don't want a commitment now, just women and kids everywhere. Well, that is true, Jess, but let me explain something here. That's up to women. This is when I call women to task. You know your behind is not married. What are you doing having a baby? What are you doing? Why are you I don't care what he wants. I don't care what he wants. What he wants is irrelevant. What are you doing, and why are you giving him a baby? Why are you proliferating his DNA and his family lineage without the legal protections and rights that you would have as a wife? Why are you doing that? Why are you subjecting that child to baby daddyism and baby mamaism? Why are you doing that? So see, this is when it becomes an issue for me, for women making stupid decisions. Getting pregnant by someone that you're not married to is a stupid thing to do. It's stupid for you and it's stupid for the child. Yet, millions of women continue to do it. And not always, it's just not teenagers either. We're talking about college educated women in their 20s and 30s who do that. And so we got to look at you because, he don't want commitment. You knew that because he wasn't married to you. So what were you doing? This is when it's time for you to take responsibility for yourself and your fertility. Yes, I know accidents happen. My daughter got here in spite of two different methods of birth control, but I was married. So, I mean, we just kind of rolled with it. But still, it's still, I mean, you know what I mean? Accidents happen. But, during the time that she was born, I mean, they didn't really have that after, what they call it, morning after pill hadn't really been, widely spread yet. That didn't come for a few years later. But honey, I would have sure been popping it if I was single. I bet you that I would have been having crap. Would have been nothing nobody could do to make me be some, have some baby daddy situation. Yes, we do ask that. Janine said we ask that every Christmas. We sure do. Like, what are you doing? Like, don't you get to see what all these other women are doing? What are you doing? Why are you doing it to yourself? Yes, broke a dusty hauntes. Preach. That is the most important thing young women need to learn. But you know what I'm discovering is that a lot of them don't understand what what constitutes a dusty. Parents are failing their daughters terribly. That's awful. We're gonna talk about that too. Did I upload that slide sheet? I don't know. Oh, I didn't upload it yet. But anyway, that's gonna be our next talk. Um, we're gonna talk about young ladies and how to talk to your teen and adolescent daughters. We got to start getting them before they decide to start dating, before they're interested in boys, before they head off to college and they're on their own. We got to start putting the work in as elders, whether you're the big sister, whether you're the auntie, whether you're the grandmother, the mama, the adult friend of the family. Whatever it is, you guys need to draw a circle around these young girls and make sure that they get the information that they need. It's a problem that's been ignored. So these girls are headed off to college and they don't know nothing. They're headed off into the world, into the workforce after graduating from college, and they don't know nothing. Nobody has taught them about game. Nobody has taught them about self-esteem. No one has taught them about boundaries. No, they don't teach them nothing. And they just let them loose, and then they become prey. And then you sit there and you want to be mad at your daughter because she come home pregnant and have to drop out of school and stuff. But that's your fault because you didn't teach her nothing. So don't be mad at her. Be mad at yourself for failing your daughter, failing your niece, failing your granddaughter. You did that because you didn't teach her. If you had properly taught her, then that wouldn't have happened. She would have been too smart to fall for that game. But you didn't tell her nothing. And you just let her go off into the world by herself like a lamb being led to slaughter. And then you want to talk about her bad. No, that's foul. That's really foul. So let me get back over here to the comments. Girl, I just be so mad at these mamas. They don't tell their kids nothing. Little girls, and the good girls are smart. I mean, intellectually, they book smart is what my daddy used to call it. They're book smart, but they don't teach them anything about life skills. So the girl, I mean, they might know how to cook and clean or something like that, but a hugest part of when you're a young woman is learning how to deal with your urges, delayed gratification, and making smart decisions. And that comes from someone teaching you how to do it. You have to teach your kids. They don't learn that by themselves. My dad used to do this real interesting thing. And at the time, of course, we were kids. We didn't understand that's what he was doing. I still don't know. I don't know if it was just innate because he was just, I still don't understand how my parents got together. That was a street, okay? Street, just straight hood rat. And then here's my mother, the college educated, singing in the church choir, speaking French in the French club. It was just, how did they get together? But my dad was fine. That's what I think it had to do with that. He was a good looking man and he had game. And I think, he just he just talked his way into that situation. And my mom was beautiful. So I think that's what that was. But, they not around for me to confirm that. It's just my theory. But I don't know. It's just something to think about. But in that situation, my father used to spend a lot of time talking to me about stuff. So that by the time I went off to high school, I knew like 90% of the games, and the rest he filled me in as situations came up. But it was just amazing to me because I just thought it was awful, the stuff that he was saying. I was like, how could people act like that? But as I got, 16, 17, 18, and I started seeing the things happening that he used to warn me about when I was 12, 13, 14, then it was like, oh my God, I guess he does know what he's talking about. But unfortunately, that's why I do the work I do here, because a lot of young ladies that come here were raised in foster care. They don't have the fathers in their home, and no one's teaching them anything. So I try to fill that gap for them as best I can. And the door is always open. If you have a specific question, that's why we have What the Fuck Tuesday. You write in. And if there's something that, you need an immediate response to, there's, the paid advice situation. And then we have once a month, $10 Thursdays. There's lots of avenues to make sure that you make a smart decision here and that you're not by yourself. Okay, you have backup here. Utilize it. Don't go off making stupid decisions that's going to mess you up for the rest of your life. This channel is all about providing you support and encouragement and educating you so that you don't make horrible mistakes that ruin your life. Okay, that's what we're here for. If I don't have the answer, I'm sure one of these zillion women that come through this channel will. Okay. It's, yeah, yeah. Honey said, oh, honey, oh, wait, let me just put this on the screen because you ain't said nothing but a word right here. She says, critical thinking skills are killed with the Bible and God. You don't think, you let them think for you. Oh, yes. That's right. That is so true. Not only do you let them think for you, if there's a problem, you blame them. Well, it must be God don't want it to be happening. No, maybe you just didn't try hard enough. Maybe you weren't focused enough. Why are you trying to put that on responsibility on some invisible nobody and say that that's that person's, that thing's fault versus what you did? What you did. You did that to yourself. Don't try to put that blame on something else. I just have a problem with that. Yeah, you're right, Jess. That's what I was just saying. Not taught anything. Not taught anything. And to me, that's just criminal for young women these days. So anyway, here's the link. If you have something that you would like to share on the air, that's the link to the platform's backstage. And, we'd love to hear your comments, your thoughts of something that's bothering you, something that you've been wondering about, something you'd like the ladies here to give you some input on. It's not just me, like it is on What the Fuck Tuesday. It's all these people here that can share their thoughts and experiences with you. Giggle say no accountability. Yeah, that is a problem. That is a problem. I just, some of it is, I don't know what this new parenting style is, where parents they do everything for their kids and the kids don't have any kind of responsibilities. They go to school and then they come home, but they don't do any chores. They're not responsible for anything. They don't even clean their own rooms. The parents clean the room. I don't understand this new kind of parenting. How are you preparing your children for maturity and adulthood when you treat them like babies like that? I don't get it. I remember we had a letter last week where the guy's parents were like that. And he wanted to move with his girlfriend and she wasn't having it because he didn't know how to clean up. He didn't know how to wash dishes. He didn't know how to do anything. And she was irritated because that meant that either she had to teach him at 20 something years of age, or she would have to do it herself because he didn't know how. So at least he had enough sense though to be asking, what can I do? Because I don't want to lose her. How do I get up to speed on this? So I gave him some suggestions. Hopefully he will take them. But as a parent, that's your job to teach your kid. They should drive in charge at 7, 8 years old. They should start, you can teach kids to do laundry. You can teach them to fold clothes. You can teach them to sweep, mop, vacuum, dust, polish furniture, do dishes, all kind of stuff. You can teach them, and they need to start doing it early in life so that by the time they become a teenager, it's second nature. Then when they head off to college, they're fully competent about, being able to handle themselves. But you parents that want to do everything for your kids and treat them like precious pieces of glass, you're crippling your children. You was clean at 5? Well, there you go. I know my mother didn't play that either because she, like in her daycare, honey, she would love them little babies. The babies, they crawling, right? They can't even walk yet. And they would pull all these blocks and stuff on the floor. My mother would make them put them back. So you see this little kid, the little crawling baby, could go and get a block, right? and crawl back with the block, throw it in the, get on their little knees and throw it in the little basket, and then crawl back to where they pick through some more blocks and do the same thing until they put all the blocks away. Less than a year old. My mother did not play. She was my model for what is good thing to teach kids. And I'll be talking about that more on Thursday too, about how these parents are raising these sons and the end result. It was real interesting just kind of prepping for the show. Some of the stuff I was reading, these men were saying, well, it's because of the school system. These kids don't have male role models and this and that. And it's, man. There's no real role models in schools, and schools are made for girls and all this kind of stuff. I hated school, trust me. And they're like, well, schools are made for girls. I'm like, how are schools made for girls? How is it, because you just think about this. This is something that was bothering me. I just have to talk about it now. Before, boys used to go to school. Remember Oxford University and all these universities, Yale and Harvard. I mean, boys went to those universities. They went all through school and they made it through there and they sat in class and they participated. They did yard work. Lab work. They did all stuff, right? What's so different about the boys from them days that could sit in classes and not be disruptive versus the ones now? How come you want to make excuses and blame it on the school system and the school structure when men, since forever, were the only ones in school because they didn't let girls go to school for the longest? So it was only boys in the school. They sat in their seats and they did what the professor told them to do. So why is it that they can't do that now? Why is it the fault of the school system or feminism because boys are stupid? Why is that? Why are you trying to blame it on that when historically men were the only ones in school? What's the big deal? So it's just a whole bunch of stuff I was reading and I was like, this is some bullshit. They really are trying to find excuses for men to give to why they're nothing, why they don't do what they're supposed to do, why they fail. They failed in my mind because they want to. There's no reason otherwise. There's too many ways to succeed, and most of them are free. You want to learn something, you go on Google University. I've learned a program called Microsoft Power BI. I've learned, because I wanted to learn how to mess around with some databases and stuff. I've learned all kind of stuff on Google University. But you know why? Because I had the desire to do it and to better myself. If you just want to play video games and watch popcorn all day, well, then, yeah, you're not going to better yourself and you're going to easily blame somebody else for it. Oh, let me see what Sunday got to say. They don't want to be parents, but insist on having, oh, girl, yes, tell it. Just like people love wedding, but don't want the responsibility of marriage. You right. Oh, preach. And Sunday is a nurse. And so she sees a lot of stuff, the underbelly of society and how people don't do what they're supposed to be doing. And it ends up in a bad situation for them in the hospital. So I always really respect her opinion because she sees a whole demographic that I don't necessarily see on a daily basis. And she gets a different kind of insight into what motivates people and what their behaviors, the end result of their behaviors. So thank you. Thank you for that. Yeah, it's very true. Yeah, Sunday she dropped them little one sentences and be like, damn. Thank you, Divalicious. Oh, she all the way from London. We have a lot of people that come here from the UK. We get the letters in from the UK every week. It just surprised me. That wasn't the case years and years ago, but it is now. And Canada too. So let's talk a little bit about, something, my favorite subject, boundaries. Boundaries. Let me get y'all's opinion on that. Why do you think women have so much problem setting boundaries? I'd like your opinion on that because it's something I've been thinking about. 3 a.m. in England. Oh my goodness. Jeez Louise. Vanny, you just so hood. Just show up for the food. Um, they want to be liked. Hmm. She says so boundaries are socially beaten out of us. They want to be liked, conditioned not to have boundaries. Okay. Career woman first before anything. Really? Low self esteem. Women don't think they can have boundaries. So I think some women have a fear of being labeled difficult or treated poorly because of their boundaries. Really? Dang, Gigi. Instead of having a bad attitude. Oh, is that right? They are desperate for love. Because when we have boundaries, we're considered difficult. We're going to get back to that. Can be lack because of attachment issues. Okay, yeah, that anxious attachment kind of love style. That's true. Don't want to appear rude. Lots of people with pleasing behavior and afraid to enforce their boundaries. You guys got some good answers. Got yelled at and ghosted. Well, you ain't missed nothing. That's what I think. Because they don't want to be called mean. Ooh, please call me mean. Mean, I mean. Men don't like boundaries. Of course not, because it just blocks them from getting what they want from you. Catholic upbringing. These are all excellent answers. These are excellent things that some of them I just hadn't even considered. Yeah, nice. Oh God, I hate that word so much. Any woman who defends herself is labeled as a misbehaving Karen. Well, Karen to me is different. Karens aren't defending themselves. Karens go on the attack. They go on the attack. Well, at least, the way that I've come to know Karen, they go on the attack and they involve themselves in situations in people's business that they don't have no business being involved in. But, you may have seen something else, but to me, that's the original definition of a Karen. Try to be nice, told to be nice, never taught boundaries. Oh, yeah, I think it's a lot of stuff that parents don't teach their girls. You're impossible. I like impossible. Hard times and disrespect. Oh. Women have to consider the response back from setting boundaries. My boundaries are more important than social validation or acceptance at the risk of my boundaries. Well, these are all great responses. Now, let me scroll back because there was one up here that I really wanted to talk about. Oh, this is one I skipped. Sorry about that. The good ones need to ride or die, long suffering. I'm trying to find the one that I wanted to comment on, and I don't remember what it is now. I think it was this one. I think it's this one. I don't want to be called mean. Let's explore that. When someone says that you're mean, what do they mean? Generally, that you are not giving them what they want. Saying that someone is mean is labeling their behavior as contradicting what it is that you're trying to get from them. Because otherwise, you would be compliant. You would be pleasing. You would say yes. You would, just defer to them and what it is that they want. So when you put up a wall and you say no, or I don't think so, that ain't happening, Captain, that kind of stuff, they want to label you mean. Now, why do women care about being labeled mean? I don't know. Perhaps you have a thought on that. To me, someone saying that you're mean is a compliment, because that means in the real world that you're not a pushover. You're not a carpet. You're not a rug to walk on. That means that there's something about you that they know they can't get over on you because you're mean. And twice as it's kept, a lot of you don't notice, men like mean women. Men like mean women. What were you just talking about, Vanna? because they like to think that they about the one who got away, the one that they can't let go of, the one who they go with, the woman who's compliant and weak and giving and who says yes and everything, but they don't respect her. They long for and dream about and just always desire the woman who told them no and get out of here and who made them have to like jump hurdles and do things to get her attention. He had to perform to a certain level and standard. And then when he didn't do it, she nixed him. So he went on to the woman who was accepting of his nothingness. But that doesn't mean he just still didn't want the other woman. He just knows that he was too lazy, or he knows no matter what he did, he was still never going to measure up. But that doesn't mean he doesn't still want her. And we were just talking about that just a few minutes before the show started. Mean is absolutely positively good. Every woman should strive to be called mean at least once in her life so you can see what it feels like to have strong, firm boundaries in place and not let people get over on you. Oh, oh no. Was the guy a JW too? Man, I had cut a branch of my families of JWs, and I tell you, them some freaks. The stuff they used to tell me, I was like, oh my God. And my parents were not religious, really. And I didn't do it. No, no, none of that kind of stuff happened at all. I think women, there are a lot of social consequences of being. Think of Ellen DeGeneres losing her job in career because she got exposed as mean. Yeah, but guess what? She bounced back. Is Ellen hurting for money or fame? Ellen got everything she wants. Why should she care about somebody calling her mean? My daddy used to call that what he called FU money, like what Oprah and Ellen got. FU money. They do what the hell they want to do with no regard for what you think about it. And even so, some people try to, because in the entertainment industry, being compliant is what gives people parts like they like to think. I seriously think that's what happened with Heath Ledger. That boy went crazy because think of how young he was when he started. He was cute, and all the stuff we hear about that goes on in the industry with abuses of young males. I think that's what happened to him. Of course, I can't prove it, but nobody ever tell me any otherwise. I think it drove that boy to be crazy, and then he ended up, unaliving himself because he couldn't handle it. I will always believe that. Just think of how he was like beautiful as a young teen. Why you look so mean? Smile. You paying me? Y'all want my responses to those? I charge $100 a smile. Well, dang, sister. I charge $100 or, something. I mean, how's it going to benefit me to smile at you? Am I a trained seal? Did you say smile and I'm supposed to just do it for free? No. I charge to show my teeth at people. And they just walk away looking confused because they don't know what to say to that. It's like, you don't command me to do nothing unless you pay me. The only time I take orders is when I'm getting paid to do so. Other than that, get out of my face. You broke Dusty. Exactly. That's it. Low hanging fruit. That is the word. And, it's just so sad because, the women be fighting over the dudes, huh, Vanna? They be fighting over the dudes. And then the one who just the fake, fraudulent, weak woman thinks that, she got a prize because he picked her. Why are you happy to be the one that he settled for when he didn't really want you? He wanted that other woman. But he settled for you because you was easy to get. He didn't have to do anything. Most of the time, these women do for the man. So, yeah, I'm not smiling at nobody. Enforcing boundaries exposes you to being attacked. You need to explain that. Please call in and explain that because I want to know exactly what you mean. I mean, no man likes a woman who puts up boundaries, but you know what happens? If you expose you to being attacked because you say no and you say I don't want to and you say stop and this kind of stuff, Well, just think about this, what the suffering is going to be in the opposite if you just give in. Which suffering is worse? The actual suffering or the perception that you might have to suffer? Personally, I'd rather have my boundaries and say no. I mean, yeah, I've been in plenty of fights, all kind of stuff has happened because I grew up in the hood too. So I kind of know what you're talking about, but I want to know what your perception is. They want to fight you. Girls want to jump you. Dudes want to beat you. All kind of stuff be happening. People want to just gang up on you because you didn't do what they wanted you to do. It's something like shoplifting, going shoplifting with them and stuff. I'm not doing that because I was always more afraid of my parents than I was of any kind of peer pressure or getting into a fight. I was always more afraid of them because my parents it was crazy, and I wasn't trying to have to deal with them two people. Not happening. So I would rather just get my butt beat, but although that never happened because I was too good of a fighter. But I would rather face that than ever have to go home and tell them people that I did something and that somebody pressured me into doing something and that I did it because so and so made me do it or anything like that. You wouldn't know me today because I would have just been like in my grave. They wouldn't. They don't play that kind of stuff. Narcs try to make you the problem when you don't conform to them. Of course they do. They don't even have to be narcs. Just people who don't like to take responsibility. I mean, that's kind of across the board. They want to make everything somebody else's fault. I mean, they don't necessarily have to be a narcissist, but just somebody who doesn't want to be responsible. Sometimes it's something as simple as they grew up in an environment where they were raised where everything um, was blamed on them. So they always got in trouble. So they learned to be kind of defensive and dodge stuff by lying or manipulating or blaming it on someone else. That's how they were able to live safely. So it's kind of depends on that's not a narcissist, but it's someone who grew up in a toxic environment where telling the truth and being authentic was risky. And so they learn to kind of work around it. So it just depends, it depends on the person's upbringing, what kind of family dynamics they had. Well, yeah, that's true too. See what Kiki says. Women that get their boundaries crossed are in lacking relations, lacking a family unit, lacking job security. Hmm. Well, I think that boundaries are the kind of thing like when you express them, there's going to be a certain segment of society that tests them. They're not going to take what you say as the gospel truth. And let me tell you, ladies, why. Because women too often give in. You don't know how, okay, you can set a boundary, but you don't know how to maintain it. So somebody starts wheedling you, or even, sometimes they threaten you, like with the loss of the relationship or with cheating, or, they're going to leave you, or they're going to physically, assault you or something. They threaten these kind of things, right? So you give in. You give in, and most of the time it's not physical thought. Basically, they just begging, why not? Come on, you just me, you just this and that, you just selfish. That's why you're gonna end up single. That's why you're gonna end up with a whole bunch of cats because you don't want to never do nothing with no. You just don't even respect your man. Nah, 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 nah. They have all these things to try to guilt trip and coerce you into giving in. And if you God, what's wrong with me today? If you listen to that kind of stuff and it means something to you, well, then yes, you'll give in on your boundaries. You'll crumble your boundaries. But other than that, you just be like, well, look, that's what I said, and that's the way it is. And if you don't like it, then get out. I'm not changing my mind. Hell could freeze over. I'm still going to be the same. Stuff like that. Let's see what Black moms teach us to be people pleasers. My mom fit in and follow the cool kids and ended up being a teen mom. The same kids side eyed her. Oh no. Is that what she did? So did she taught that to you, Tiff? I see. Hmm. Good. I'm glad to hear that, Callie. It's not easy, especially, I'm not going to say it's an easy thing, especially when you're new at it. It's going to feel foreign to you. And if you've always been the kind of girl who, was a people pleaser type, depending on people to give you that kind of acknowledgement and validation, it's going to feel very strange to you to say no to people and to have them turn away. But what you have to realize is anyone who turns away from you because you didn't do what they wanted you to do and didn't give them what they wanted was never a friend anyway. They didn't really care about you. That person was an opportunist and they were out for what they could get from you. Once you turned them down, they were upset, of course, because now they're going to have to go put in some work to get it from someone else. But trust me, it's not you. They're not mad at you. They're mad that they didn't get what they wanted from you. Okay. They never liked or respected you in the first place. So you expecting to get validation and acceptance from someone who never really cared about you in the first place, only what you could do for them is foolish thinking. And that I think is something that a lot of young girls, they haven't arrived at that yet. Nobody explained that to them and nobody broke that down for them. So they think, oh my God, that was my friend. And now I said no, and they don't want to be my friend anymore. That heifer was never your friend. That dude was never your friend. They were just out for what they could get from you and some kind of way they could use you. And the fact that you said no, yeah, you've eliminated that riffraff from your life and they went on down the road somewhere. But you saved yourself. It's a wonderful thing. Bougie says, I was a people pleaser and it really made me miserable. I stopped doing that at the age of 18 because I grew up being shamed for being selfish as a girl. Girl, yes, that's okay. You know what? It's good that people see you as being selfish. There's nothing wrong with that. You'll go far in life because you're selfish. What's Ash talking about? Oh, yes, they do, honey, because dust might be just on you. Oh, she says, I'm helping you become aware. That's my goal. Yeah, don't ever be ashamed of yourself. I mean, even if you screw up, you know what I mean? Even if you screw up, um, it's fine. You can make mistakes in life. It's no problem with that. That's how you learn. The main thing is if nobody died and nobody was hospitalized, then it's okay. I mean, what's the problem? Let's see what she's got to say. I learned how to enforce my boundaries from you. Thank you. I'm even learning to enforce them with family. Oh, good. Yeah, that's hard because, most of our focus on this channel, well, we talk about relationships, romantic relationships, as well as relationships with other people, and well as a relationship with yourself. So it becomes a real challenge, I think, for a lot of young women to put boundaries in place with their families because they feel like they should always be there for them. And you should to the point where it's comfortable for you and it's not a situation where it's creating some kind of codependency. Once it becomes codependent, well, then when you're stepping in to do stuff for them that they should be doing for themselves, well, then that's a problem. That is a problem. Yeah, friends, you got to watch them friends too. You know how parents always would be the kind of thing they want to know your friends and they be giving on the side. I used to check out my daughter's friends. And I was like, oh no, that so and so right there can't come back to my house. And she was like, well, why? They're so nice. I said, I don't care what you think. You keep them at school. You can't tell your kids what they cannot associate with at school away from you because if you tell them no, they're gonna do it anyway. You know what I mean? And I'm not gonna be there to supervise that. All I can do is explain to her why I said that and why that person's not coming back up in my house. And so she, got older, she started to recognize what I was talking about, and then it became a little bit better. And Callie set and stick with my boundaries. Yes, it is. That's what they say. What is it? The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. Cut one of my favorite boyfriends I've had for 2 days, to him test me on something I said no to in the past. Oh, that sounds that sounds juicy. I want to know what it is. You just like laying out that little carrot, poop, and thinking that's gonna be good enough. I'm like knee deep up in that. Oh, it was several friends. It was not just one. Um, One was, I think I shared this story about the little boy who was there. I mean, he seemed to be a cute little kid, but then that one time I was upstairs and I heard him in the living room with my daughter and three of the other girls. So it was four of them downstairs, four or five of them downstairs. And he said something about, yeah, because these bees, this and that, these bees, these are little white kids, right? Because we lived in this area with like 99% white folks. And so I could hear the girls get quiet, but nobody said anything. So I'm listening because I'm thinking, wait, did I just hear what thought I heard? And so then I'm going downstairs and I'm like, what did you just say? And so then he repeats it, right? Like a dummy. And my daughter was like, face palm. And so first I chewed her out. I said, first of all, how you gonna let somebody come in your house and talk to you and your female friends like that and you don't check them? Okay, she was about 15, you know what I mean? So I'm like, okay, then I turned my fire onto him, my cannon, and I said, let me tell you something. You don't use that kind of language in my house, and you don't talk to young women like that. Have you lost your mind? And he's like, well, my parents said this. I said, well, then that's where you need to go. Get your shit and get your little fucking ass up out of my house and don't come back. Because one thing you're not going to do is A, talk back to me, and B, tell me anything that you do when I'm telling you it's inappropriate behavior. You're going to try to argue about it. Get out. Get your stuff and get out. And they were there because I was going to make fried chicken and stuff for them, right? So he was super sad because he didn't get none. I tossed his little butt out and I told my daughter and her friends, don't you ever even think about associating with that little trash clown because he has no respect to sit up in somebody else's. He's in a black woman's house and be talking like that about women. I had no love. But like I said, like I shared the story, he waited. It was a couple of days went by and he showed up at my back patio. I just happened to be home. I was out there gardening. And came with this big old bouquet of flowers and apologized profusely, swore up and down he would never do that again, how he had learned a valuable lesson. And it's a little 15-year-old white kid, right? So I'm looking at him. I'm like, okay, this kid's he gets it. He's going to go a long way because he understands what he did wrong. And he bought the flowers out of his little, he had a little part-time job or something. He bought them with his own money and rode his little bicycle over to the house. And when he knew my daughter wasn't going to be there, to find me to apologize. And his apology, I could tell he got all red in the face. He was truly embarrassed. And he said, my parents don't seem to mind me talking like that. I said, well, I want you to understand something. There's different kinds of parents. And one thing I insist on is that young men always show young women respect. There's no way in this world, you're going to show some to me. You never should go in anyone's house talking like that when you're around women like that. I mean, if you're around somebody that you feel like you have to talk to them about like that, then you don't need to be around that person. That's on you. That's a class and quality issue that you need to address. But one thing you're never going to do from this point on is talk to women like that. Do you understand me? And he swore up and down he was never, and he was bad. So, I gave him a little hug. He's like a kid, he's 15. I mean, he's a baby. So I gave him a hug and I, told him it was fine. And we had some leftover chicken. So I gave him a couple pieces and we sat there and talked about what he was going to do for college and all this kind of stuff. Then I threw his little ass out of my house. But after that, he came over. He was Mr. P's and Q's. And I think he learned a valuable lesson. And he got parenting from me that he didn't get from his parents. They never corrected him. They never told him what was appropriate. Never told him how that was going to be interpreted as he went through life. How he was going to be having women and his jobs and, hopefully get married someday and stuff. You cannot go through life with that kind of attitude about women and think you're going to be successful when women hold up, as the book title says, half the sky. So, you need to respect that. So, we talked, it was cool. That was one. Then she had this little girlfriend, little white girl who came over. Because like I said, this was all our friends. She had on like the shortest shorts and half her butt cheeks hanging out and stuff like that. Again, 15 years old. And I'm looking at her and my daughter started thinking that she was going to get some clothes like that. I said, you're not going to be dressing like a Fredericks or Hollywood hooker. Not around here. We don't do that. Now, when you turn 21, 18, whatever, you move out of my house, you can dress whatever way we want to. But as long as I'm buying your clothes and I'm responsible for your health and safety, you're not going to leave this house looking like you could be on somebody's corner on Fillmore Street. It's not going to happen. Well, all my friends dress like that. You need to get new friends. And let me tell you, any of your friends who want to dress like that, they're making a certain presentation. I don't know whose attention they trying to get or what's going on with them, at their house or with some older boyfriend. I don't know what's going on with them. But you're not gonna hang around with her, and it's gonna be a problem. Okay, so this is what happened. So one time she want to go to this party, and she's like, "Oh, my friend is gonna pick me up." Okay, come to find out that the party. This was like this little girl had invited her to this party. I still to this day don't know what happened, what was about to go down because she was scared to tell me. But all of a sudden, my daughter called me, and I had told her, I don't care what happens, where you are, I don't care what. You call me and tell me 911, mommy, tell me where you are. I'm going to drop everything and I'm going to be on my way. I was at work in Oakland because I used to work at this gym and I had night clients. It was about maybe 8 o'clock at night. I had my phone on. I pick up my phone. She's like, "Mommy, 911." And she was like choking back tears. I'm getting emotional just thinking about it because I was so scared. I'm like, "Where are you?" She said, "I will text you the address." I must have drove 200 miles an hour to get back to where we live. I found the street. And so I'm driving up and down the street. I see where the party was at the house she gave me, but it turned out that my daughter had left the party and was hiding outside in the cold in some people's bushes, like down the street. She saw my car go, up and down the street. So she came out and jumped in the car. This is a true story. I was so terrified. My heart was racing. I couldn't even think. I was like, what in the world happened to my baby? And so she's like, I said, "Okay, what happened?" "I don't want to talk about it," she says. "I don't want to talk about it." Then she started crying. So I'm thinking, of course, I don't have any proof of this, but this is what I'm thinking, that there was going to be some kind of like weird, eggplanty kind of stuff going on. And my daughter, she wasn't at that level yet. And so she dipped out, because she, some kind of freak shit was about to happen. That's what I think. Because I couldn't see any other reason for her to be that scared and to leave like that. Was she going to be the subject of it because she was going to be the only Black one there? I don't know. My imagination went wild. But I tell you, that's what the thing I set up with I don't care what time it is. I don't care where you are. You could be in another country. You say 911, mommy, I'm on my way. Okay, that's it. That was our code. And I dropped everything and I went to save my baby. That was it. So, like I said, she never to this day, she has not talked about that. She's never told me what it is. But I got her. I brought her home, gave her a snack and put her in a room and she was okay. Yeah. So of course I wanted to know, but I could see she didn't want to talk about it. So I I just let it alone. But I think it's important for your kids to know that you're not going to judge them, you're not going to grill them, you're not going to chastise them. You're just going to be on your way. Okay, you're going to be on your way, and whatever's the problem, you're going to help them. You're going to fix it. You're going to solve it, and you're going to protect them. And I have my stuff in my trunk, so I was like, "Am I going to have to shoot somebody? What's going on here?" But yeah, she was hiding in the bushes, shivering in the cold and stuff. That was crazy. Honey, I would have just shot up that whole house behind my daughter. And she probably knew that, which is why she was hiding in the bushes down the street. So, yeah, I tell you. Oh, that was just a horrible experience. But anyway, I think after that, I didn't really have to tell her why anymore. I just said, "That's not a good person for you to be around." And she would drop them. That one lesson um, taught her, it reinforced what I was saying. Because, when you older, you could read people. You look at somebody, their eyes and their energy, and you could tell that this ain't what it's supposed to be. And so, I'm trying to teach her that. But, teenagers, they don't want to listen. They don't want to listen. They think they know everything. But I could tell she listened, but then she didn't really believe it, kind of thing. She's like, "Well, she talking about she old. She don't know about the modern times and all this old stuff here." But she got to see. No, you don't have to put. You don't have to call be on camera to call in. You can just hit the thing where it says audio only. This is the link right here. Because it would be nice to have some people call in and share their thoughts. And what is it that's bothering you guys? What is it that you want to hear about? What do you want to learn? This is small talk. It's a small talk. We don't really have a major subject. We just whatever's on your mind. That's what you talk about. Okay. So there you go. Yeah, they're gonna try you. What she say? No. So tasting a long letter in your mailbox. Wait a minute. I must have missed the first part. Where was the first part? Hold on. Let me see up here. Okay. It's 2 days ago. They're testing me on something I said no to in the past. Okay. Then this is the part. Then he places on, want to be my friend until he gets himself together. Okay. I see. Trying to slide in on the friend tip. Mm-hmm. She only got one cat. Of course, they want you to feel ashamed. That's how they manipulate and coerce you into dropping your boundaries and standards in order to be with them. But you're too smart for that. Just set a boundary right now. Uh-oh. Oh, shit, go, girl. That's what I'm talking about. Women don't understand this, but dudes, if they know that you have boundaries, they actually respect you. I can't tell you how many dudes I've known, right? Okay, so that girl has rules, she has boundaries, she has standards. And so something will happen, right? So his friend's trying to say, let's do this and thing, let's do this and something that he knows he's not supposed to do. And you can see that thought bubble pop up. And he started thinking about what's going to happen if he does that and how his wife or girlfriend is going to go smooth TF off. And so then you could see it right in their eyes. They thinking they look doing all this stuff here. And so then he's like, "No, nah, man, I can't do that. My girl will lose her mind. I'm not trying to have all that. I have to sleep on the couch." They try to make a joke about it. I have to sleep in the doghouse with my pits and stuff like that. But they make a joke about it. But the bottom line is, I'm not doing what you're trying to get me to do because it's more important that I be able to sleep and cuddle with my baby than it is that I make you happy, clown. I'm out, boop, and then dude goes home. That's what happens if you are a woman who has standards and boundaries. Your man is just like, he knows. He ain't crazy. And if he should decide that he wants to violate them, then understand that the relationship is over because he has made a decision that he no longer cares about what you think, what you feel, or your relationship. And he's going to do what TF he wants to do. In which case, that means that he no longer, respects you, in which case there's no point in continuing the relationship. Let me see what's going on down here. Girl, I know. Isn't it amazing? They swear they know everything. Everything there is to know. They know it. They've lived it. They've done it. If they don't know it, they know somebody who does know it, who's the same age as them or even younger. It's just the most amazing thing. Hey, Diana. Oh, yes. Honey, that's what mothers do. Mothers go crazy. I know your mama was, your mama drove there like burning rubber, popping wheelies to get her kids. Yeah. Mothers, I don't know. It's just if you turn into this super bear person or something, you just don't care about nothing. You become bullets don't penetrate you, words don't hurt you, rules and laws you don't care about nothing. You getting your kid, and that's just all there is to it. And it doesn't matter. It could be the father. It could be your parents. It doesn't matter who it is. If you are that kind of mother, you gonna go through hell and fire to get your child and save your kid. That's just the way it is. And nobody ever told you to be like that. It's just some kind of thing. I mean, the second that you hold them when they're babies, you just get that energy. It's like, this is my job to protect this little person until they're old enough to protect themselves. What's he saying? Said he pursued his wife for years and years before she agreed to date him. Yes, that's how they do. If they, decide that they really want you, then they'll do what it takes to get you. So I don't understand all these women who be chasing men. I would never chase a man. I'm not even gonna call you, text you, nothing. Even my friend, my friend Ken, I think I call Ken maybe once a year. The rest of the time he calls me and we're just friends. I just don't call men. There's no need for me to do that. I don't, that's what no point. I called him, it was his birthday. I sang happy birthday. He was like, please stop. But Ken, I've known Ken, what, 27, 28 years. I mean, child, these children. Yes, Van, I'm trying to tell you, you just spin around and you turn into like, I don't know, you a transformer or something. You just go crazy when it's your kids. So anybody want to call in and share a thought? There's the number. You don't have to be on camera. You can just do audio only. You choose that option. That's all on you. But we're talking about all kinds of stuff. I mean, there's not really a topic per se. We're talking about stuff that's important to you. What issues do you have? Some thoughts that you have, something that's bothered you about maybe something you saw in the news. You want to talk about self esteem, some conflict or resolution issues that you've had with friends or family. Are you a crazy man? I mean, what? Your girlfriend who just flipped out, suddenly you've been friends for 20 years and suddenly she went left. I mean, whatever it is you want to talk about, this is the time. This is the time. Okay. We've got about another, I don't know, another 40 minutes or so to talk. Okay. Let me see what Miss Khadijah. Khadijah, what's going on?
Hi, Miss Deborah. How are you doing?
I am fine. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm glad that you're live. Oh my gosh, I was watching one of your videos yesterday, and it was the one I think it was maybe 2 years ago where you had us do some homework and the emotional intelligence. The four different categories um, that you had us to write down and score like one to
Mm-hmm.
five. That one. And I
Yeah.
discovered that I have some it was like the second column. So now I'm doing some inner work to strengthen my emotional um it's the emotional part of it, the emotional intelligence, like you know that part of it. So I really appreciate that, and it's so crazy because I literally had to do that. I did that homework last night.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So my question, I just wrote it in the chat.
Oh, you
um
did? Did I miss it?
No, I literally just wrote it. So you were already talking about a different subject. So yeah, so no, you didn't get to it. But I'm watching this Kendra G. I'm not sure if I can say names up here, but I'm watching her Jerry Springer dating show, right? And I'm noticing a lot of clearly homosexual men on there demanding, or hetero women or something like that. And I'm confused. Like, I don't understand.
We did a show on that a year or two ago where I was talking about the push to get Black women to accept relationships with bi men.
Yes, I saw many videos saying that we're homophobic because we don't want that. I'm like, cuz you know, I don't want shit in my pussy. I
Watch
um,
your language. We're trying to keep this PG.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know how any other way to describe it. I just don't want HIV.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's HIV and a whole bunch of other stuff that you could get too. But it's the bottom line is if a woman is hetero and she wants a man who's hetero, then a guy who dips with other men is not hetero.
Yeah,
So that means that you're disqualified from any relationship with me because you are not what I want. Your orientation is off somewhere else. And it's not to say that you're condemning it because it's fine. You go do that, but you need to do that over there. Do that over
yeah.
there, not over here.
And I believe that this is the reason why there's this huge DL culture, because the hetero women are not at large accepting accepting that. Because I mean we're clear, we're hetero, like it's clear. And then we have on the other side where like you said, I'm trying to keep it PG, but the transformers are saying, well, they're hetero because they believe that they're women. And I'm trying to figure out what would, like, I don't understand. Stop doing that. Stop trying to stop doing that. You wouldn't
Well,
stop
yeah,
doing
I
that.
mean, well, that's like a frog believing in it's a giraffe. I mean, that ain't happening. It's not realistic. And come on now, stop it. But
Yeah, and I just
unfortunately, so many people have kind of tolerated that and gone along with those delusions that it's become to the point where people accept it and feel bad that if they say anything against it, you get kind of punished for it. I don't care. I
on
don't
that same
care.
show that there was a transformer on there talking about he wants a straight man, and I'm
Mm.
like, because he believes that he's a hetero woman.
Ain't had menstrual cycle in the first, but okay.
So it's just really, um, I'm moving out of Atlanta because the dating scene there has feces in it and flesh eating bacteria. So I'm moving out of Atlanta. I'm gonna buy me a house. It sucks because my whole family's there, but I, if I want or
Oh, you're
anything getting
breaking
free,
up.
I don't think that it's safe to look in that area.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that comment, and you are so right. Thank you for calling in. Let's get Sydney on here. Sydney, you're next.
Hi, Miss Deb. How are you?
Fine. And let me remind everybody when you call in, watch your language. I forgot to say that, and people are using all kind of interesting terminology here. But
For sure.
yeah. So, what you
I
got to say?
I have called in, and when I tell you this live is like right on time, it is right on time for me. About 2 days ago, I just had to let go of one of my favorite boyfriends that I've ever had in my life. We were dating for about 6 months. But one thing
Well, that's a
is,
good
I'm
little
gonna say he.
time.
Hmm?
That's a good little length of time.
Right. It was really cute and we had a great time. However, I remember our first date that we had, he had exposed me. He was really honest, but he was just like, I am a sex addict, I love sex, blah, blah, blah. He even talked about him liking something called it's called CNC, so something like consent, non-consent or whatever. But it's like really like deviant sexual things, okay? So in my mind, I was just like, well, I'm not really into that, but you seem like a cool guy, so we'll just keep talking. We didn't have sex for about a month and a half into like our relationship, but he was a great person. We went out on dates, football games. We just traveled a lot. Like we did a lot of things together, and I really enjoyed it. So eventually we did ended up being intimate, but I was just explaining to him to like, the things that you're interested in and like, I'm not really interested in that stuff, and I don't have no intentions on doing anything like that. So, I'll enjoy you while I can, but when it comes to a time where you feel like you have the urge to do those type of things or you want to be involved with other women, just let me know so I can go about my business.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so about 2 days ago, he did try me on something that was sexual. And I was just like, I told you that I don't want to be involved in that. And so I'm immediately like, you should probably go home. So he didn't go home. He actually slept on my couch, which I didn't know. Because I was just like, I woke up and I'm just like, why is all his things still here? He better not have killed himself in my house. So I'm like, he's on my couch. I'm just like, don't you have to get up and go somewhere? So he's getting up. He's apologizing to me. He's just like, well, I didn't know it was going to hurt you like that, whatever, whatever. And I'm just like, but I told you a couple of months ago that I did not want to be involved in that. And you still did what you did. So that means you're going to continue to do what you want to do. So I want you out of my house. Don't call me. Don't text me anymore. So he leaves. He texts me all day. He's just like, I want to be able to talk this out. Like I never had somebody, just kind of tell me what was going on up front before. I'm just like, you're probably lying. You probably hurt other people just like this, but just leave me alone. So I get up the next day and he's like, he texts me. He's like, go check your mailbox. I'm like, I'm not going to check my mailbox when you tell me to because I don't know what you put in there. So I
A
waited
letter bomb.
right. So I waited about 6 hours. I had went out, left and done a couple of things, and I came back and I went in the mailbox and I pulled it out, and it was this long. It wasn't a 4-page letter; it was a 2-page letter. So I was just like, I didn't even want to read it because it wasn't even long enough for me and it didn't have any money in it. So I opened it up, I read it. He's just like, you had your boundaries and I should have respected them, but I didn't. And you've been like one of the best relationships that I've ever had. And I would like for us to kind of try to do this again. We don't have to be intimate or anything. I just want to be your friend. If you could be open to consideration for that, that's fine. If you don't, that's cool too. My answer is I don't. Leave me alone. Go find somebody else. Do something else. But why did it have to take for me to actually like come at you when I already told you that before, but you didn't respect it? So you wanted to test me. You tested it and just go ahead about your business. But I'm just like, you were aware of that the entire time. And that's crazy. And for you to even test me on that, in my mind, it just said to me that you would continue to test it. You would continue to try and do things that I don't want you to do. So let's just go ahead and cut that out and you can go ahead and, find another food because that's not.
Okay, let me give you my assessment of what happened and where you went wrong and why that happened. Number one, okay, you guys is in the talking phase, and he told you something that was against your morals and values.
Mm-hmm.
He told you. He was open about it. Now, at that point, that's when you should have stopped talking to him.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you why. By the fact that you said, well, I'm not into that. That means it's against your values. He heard you. But what did you do? You kept seeing him anyway. So what you did was give a mixed message. You said no, but then your actions said yes.
Right.
You see what I'm going with this? And I'm not mad at you. I'm not blaming you. I just want you to understand what happened and why it happened. And so for him, that was, you said no, but then your behavior said, well, let's try it anyway. Let's go. So then he's thinking, okay, well, she said yes to that. So, maybe she just wants to do this part too. So then he did the test, which was just further into the, well, I said no, but then I'm doing yes behavior. So he's thinking you're going to do yes to this too, because you didn't really mean to know that you said at first. You didn't really mean to know because you didn't put no actions behind it. If you say no to a man, girlfriend, if you say no, your words and your actions have to match. You cannot say one thing and do another. If you told him, I'm not into that, that lets you know that's not the man for you. Right there and then on the spot. He was open and honest about it. Now, I know you had fun with him and all this other stuff here, but please, in the future, if a man, they're going to tell you who they are. They're going to show you who and what they are. That's your time as a woman to make a discerning decision that this man is either on your same page and in your same book or not. This guy was on some freak shit, which you already knew was not for you. And so you were supposed to say, yeah, I gotta go and hang up and block him.
For sure.
And even after you kicked him out and he was still able to text you, you did not block him, which was another mistake. He should not have been able to text you, call you, nothing. You said, get out of my world. You're supposed to make sure that he's out. That's on you. So there are two things here that I want you to correct that behavior before you move forward to another relationship. It's very important that you understand your words and your actions to be taken seriously by a man must match. And I can see, you're upset because I said it, but then he didn't listen. No, he's not going to, because you did something else. So you sent a mixed message.
Right.
Understand?
Correct.
And you're young, and so I know we got to reinforce these messages, but it's very important that you think about that in the future. And if dude tells you some crazy shit that he's trying to do some nonsense and you like, oh, hell to the no, that's when you cut him right then and there. You don't talk to him anymore. You don't entertain him. He don't come to your house. You don't go to his. You don't go on no date. You don't giggle on the phone. You don't text him. You don't exchange phone numbers. Pics and all this stuff here. He ceases to exist because he's not worthy of you, because he's on some freak shit and you're not.
Correct.
Okay.
It took me 6 months, but I definitely appreciate you, and I'm glad I was able to talk to you today.
Me too. Okay, go ahead and I'll do great things. Okay, see it.
We're out here. Take care.
Bye-bye. Bye. All right, let me see. Who's this? Layla. And again, watch your language. Keep it PG. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Deb. Thank you so much for having me.
Hey, what's happening?
Hey, so I just wanted to let you know I found you through Jeremiah Kamara.
Oh, God, I met him
Yeah.
so many years ago.
Yes, it was when you were promoting your book, when men pray and women pray,
Mm-hmm.
and
My
so
book
that's
on the
how I,
Black church. Yep.
yeah, that's how I found your channel, and so I've been
Wow.
following you ever
That was a
since
long time
then.
ago.
hmm And so all of the stuff that I've learned from you, I pass it on to my daughter. She's about to be 15, and she's already going through like little crazy stuff with boys at school. And I always tell her, like, this is a red flag. One boy told her that he didn't take no for an answer,
Oh,
and
really?
this was in junior high. I had to go up to the school. I mean, so it's like really like some stuff that you've helped me with, and also that I can pass down to my daughter as well. So thank you so much for that.
Oh, I'm so glad, girl. Yes, I know you was like popping wheelies going up to that school saying,
Oh
"Look here. Look here."
yeah. And ultimately I had to take her out of the school. The school was just too bad. It was just horrible. I mean, and the behavior of the kids. So she did all of her junior high at home, so homeschooling. And now she's in ninth grade and she's back at school, but she's unfortunately back with the same old kind of people.
Oh,
And so, but still, you know, she's having a good time, and the things that you've taught me that I'm teaching her is helping. So I'm glad for that.
okay. Yeah, plus she's a little older now, so.
Yeah. Yeah. So, one of the things I wanted to talk to you about, because, well, I'm not in a relationship right now, I'm single, but I do have problems like getting friendships, just regular friendships with women. Um, and one of the things that I notice when I'm making friends is that a lot of times my friends demand too much, or
Mm,
you know, they demand too much of my time. So it's almost like, okay, well, hey, I need you to call me tonight. They don't ask me if I'm available to call them. They just say call me. And if I'm not able to call them, it's like, well, you don't like me. You don't call me enough. You don't do this. You don't do that. And so it confuses me. It confuses the life out of me because they don't call me either. And it's almost, I don't know, it just seems weird. And I'm not a phone person. And so for some people, I'll tell them I'm not really a phone person. I don't like to talk on the phone like that. So it becomes kind of, I don't know, confusing for me in relationships and friendships. Because I
I'm gonna
want to
say
have
this:
a
those kind of women are
Mhm.
just those aren't. You don't want to be friends with them.
Okay.
You don't want to be friends with them. What who's gonna think that you're somebody they can control and yank around like that? I mean,
Yeah.
as adults, we have kids, we have jobs, we have school, we have responsibilities with our aging parents. We have some women have church, they have community volunteer stuff, they have hobbies, they have interests, they go to exercise class, they go to the gym. People have time, limits on their free time. And not everybody has all this time to be calling everybody every day and jaw jacking on the phone for an hour or two.
Yeah.
They just don't have it. So if you meet women who have so little going on that they're going to be acting like that, you can't be friends with them. I mean, they could be a casual acquaintance. So somebody said, "Well, I need you to call me." Since now, I'd be like, "Why? Why you need me to
hmm
call you?" Like, I would ask, Why? What's going on?" And
Right.
well, I want you to call me. Well, no, I'm busy. I got stuff to do. I'll talk to you on the weekend or something. That would be
Right.
me. And the friends that I have, they all know me because all my friends are people I've been friends with for 15, 20, 30 years. I don't really have many new friends. I guess you guys I consider my newest friends.
Mhm.
And it's like they all know me very well. They know that you could leave a message, and it don't mean that don't like you and all stuff. I'll call you back because they know Deb's not a phone person. I might leave
Mhm.
my phone in the car for a week. I might like the battery. I don't even know where my phone is because I can't find it because the battery's dead. So
Mhm.
if you have friends that understand you and are patient and they understand you, they're not gonna be sweating you like that. They're
Mhm.
gonna get where they fit in. So I would
Okay.
say, one of my favorite things to recommend is have you ever tried meetups?
No, I haven't tried those.
Well, now that the COVID stuff is backing down, they're kind of coming back together. And you still have to wear a mask, but they have like get-togethers. Like for women, they have like wine tastings, and women go out to dinner, and you just sit there, you meet new women friends, and and you get there and you gossip and stuff, and you all have a good time laughing and joking and stuff. You can go together to comedy shows, you can go
Mhm.
together to plays, you can go to music events, but it's like these groups of women get together and just get socialized. So look at
Okay.
the meetup.com on your area and see what you can find. And just join it, because everybody's going to be a stranger. Nobody's going to know anybody. So don't feel like you'll be the odd person out. None of you are
Mhm.
going to know anybody, but you're taking a chance that you want to meet some new friends and have somebody, broaden your social circle. And I
Right.
had fun when I used to do it. I used to go to a lot of vegan restaurant tour things with people. And we go to different vegan
Okay.
restaurants and test them out. And then COVID hit. And so that was the end of that.
Okay.
But
Okay.
yeah, I don't rest. I don't, and look in the chat room. Some of the ladies are making some comments about, this friendship thing that you were trying to do. But I just say keep trying,
Okay.
and, but keep in mind what you got going on and what kind of friend that you need, and don't
Mhm.
settle. Just because somebody says they want to be your friend doesn't mean you have to agree to it,
Right. Okay.
because there's friends and then there's acquaintances. And
Right.
acquaintances, you see them when you see them, and that's just it.
Hmm. Yeah. Okay. Well, thank
Okay.
you so much.
Yeah, well, right back on you got my email address and let me know what happens after you go to your first meeting. But I'm nosy. I like to keep up with what's going on with people.
Okay, I
I want to hear
certainly
the
will.
tea.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Okay, bye
All
bye.
right. Bye-bye.
Okay, let's get Diamond Princess in here. What's up, lady?
Hi, how are you?
Fine. What's happening? What's happening?
Okay, so to relate to the lady's story who just talked earlier, I had a similar situation when I was in high school where these guys used to tease me about my body and how big my breasts were. And I would report this to the teacher and explain to her what happened. And she was like, oh, just ignore them. But I told her this is sexual harassment. It's been going on for like, what, 3 days or something. You have to notice something was going up. I'm sitting here right in front of you, and these guys are just making like comments and foul language towards me. And this lady, she really didn't do anything. But I hear stuff about women going through sexual harassment, and the head bosses or whoever's in charge don't do a thing about it, and that's really scary that most women are not protected in their workspace.
Right. I think it's
And
worse in school because in the workspace, you're pretty much an adult. And so you pretty much can advocate for yourself. You can go out and get an attorney. You can file a police report if someone touches you. You can do stuff as an adult that you can't do when you're just a little kid and you're depending on adults around you to step in and protect you. So if that teacher was just foul.
yeah, and just to add on to another story, fast forward like 15 years later, like what, last year, I met this guy because I was visiting my dad during the holidays last year. And I was doing my Uber runs, I was doing delivery and, trying to get people's orders in before I call it a night. And I remember picking up an order from this one dude's restaurant, and I was delivering for like for some random person. And this I guess he was running to my car, making sure the orders were right, and all that, all that stuff. So I did the run, and it would be 2 hours later. I did the run again, and the guy, he said, "Oh, you're back," and all that stuff. I'm like, "Yeah, I have another order. It seems like your restaurant is very popular." And he's like, "Yeah, I'm a new business owner. I just opened up this restaurant. I guess he used to be a veteran or something like that. I think he used to work in the military, and I guess he
Okay.
got like a grant or something. But he told me to come back later off of my shift to taste one of his pizzas, and I was like, yeah, I'll do that. So I made that trip, my last run, and I went back and. Not to make the story any longer, I'm just gonna make it quick because I know you got calls. Um, so I went back and I ordered a pizza that I like, and they have it in this size. This personal pan pizza is kind of big because he's kind of like that. Those mom and pop serves like those big round pizzas and stuff like that.
Right.
So he we was talking, getting to know each other. He said he didn't have his dad in his life, and his mother was the backbone, in the family. So after we had this talk, I told him, I have to get home. My dad's probably worrying about me, right now, and I just want to make it back home. So he was nice enough to walk me out, and he said, "Hey, can I get your number?" And I was like, I'm kind of hesitating giving people my number because I don't know them. But I was like, let me, this dude seemed okay, let me just give him a number. So we exchanged numbers. And he told me, I'm very busy, this is a new restaurant that I'm running. And he told me to, call him. And I'm like, okay, you the one that asked me for my number. I wasn't really, interested in you like that. I was like, this is kind of interesting. Like, so you can't call me because you're busy, but you expect me to call you. Okay, so what's the point of me calling you if you're going to be busy? So I told
I'm
him.
wondering that myself.
So I told him, you know what? I told him that, if that's the case, then maybe you shouldn't date. Maybe it's not the right time because you're a new business owner and you're running a company. So I don't think it's going to work out like that if you are expecting me to call you if you don't pick up your phone. So I told her, I'll see you in the future. You know,
So what did he say?
um, um, I guess he couldn't say much about it. Because if you're asking me for my number, if you want to talk to me, you got to be available at some point.
Right.
And you just can't say you're going to be busy and all that stuff because what's the point of us, communicating? Like.
Well, see, you asked an intelligent question that a lot of young ladies wouldn't ask, and so he was
Uh-huh.
probably like taken aback by that because,
Mhm.
you got guys show him a little attention. He got a business. He a businessman. That's going to be impressive to some people, and so he's most
Yeah.
likely was used to women thinking that he was, something. God, me and this thing, I keep knocking into it. He was somebody to be pursued like a feather. Whereas you were like, well, what's the point of talking to you, chasing all of you, because you ain't gonna answer, you're gonna be busy anyway. So no, I'm not doing that. And
Yeah.
he didn't know what to do with that. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, but he just I remember him texting me good morning, and I was just getting up for work that morning, and I was like, just give it up, dude. It's not gonna work out. Sorry.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think in the future, in a situation like that where you work, that's your work. Never get your honey where you makes your money. That's my rule. So even though
Mhm.
he might have been somebody that really wasn't like with your company, it's still a contact, a business situation. You will be
Yeah.
going to that restaurant for business purposes. So
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
no, no, no mixing business and pleasure. Okay.
Yeah.
So that, I mean, you got out of it, but I mean, that's a situation you never should have got into in the first place. As soon as he said, can I get your number? You could say, no, I'm sorry. This is my business. This is my work. And I don't mix business with pleasure. I'll see you next run.
Yeah.
See what I mean?
Right.
Polite, but firm boundary of no.
Yeah. I'll do that
Okay.
next time.
Okay. Okay, sweetie. Talk to you later.
Bye bye.
Okay, let's see what Eagle's talking about. Yes, thank you for reminding people. Somebody being mean, I was listening intently to what she was saying. Giggles is right. No criticisms, no harshness, no snark. Okay, that's not what we do here on this channel. Anybody being snarky, it's gonna be me, and I only do it on What the Fuck Tuesdays. I don't do it any other time. Just because some people be just on something. But we have people calling in. This is an environment here. We're supposed to be here to be supportive and encouraging, understanding, providing support for each other. No snark, no bitchiness, none of that. Okay. So let's see. We got about another 15 minutes because I got things to do. If you got something that you want to talk about and you want to call in, here is the link to do so. Right there, you just click it. You don't have to show your face. You can just do vocal only in case you're scared of someone seeing you. It doesn't have to be that. I understand people are not liking the video. Why is everybody mad at me or something? What's going on? What's happening here? Yeah, we try to be, it's a lot of new people here in the chat today, and they probably, I understand a lot of channels just let people just go buck wild. We try to, I don't like that here. Like if people go into the comment section and they start calling people names and doing all that kind of stuff, I block them from the channel. You don't get to do that here. You're gonna say something nice, at least neutral. If you can't do that, then you don't say anything at all. And we know that's fine. You can just read the comments. I'm not gonna be harsh on you. But one thing you're not gonna do is call anybody names. You're not gonna talk about me bad, especially because my ego is way too big for all of that. You're not gonna talk about my cousin. You're not going to talk about any of the other channel visits. We're not going to have it. So I'll check you. I'll correct you. And if you do it again, then you're going to be blocked. That's how it is. Okay. We don't. Yeah, no free pizza. Child, I can't, unless that pizza got gold flakes on it or something. I'm not interested anyway. I need some pizza that I can take to the bank, not put in my stomach. Because that lactose intolerance, lactose intolerance and gluten sensitivities. I can't really do pizza anymore anyway. I use cauliflower crust pizza. Yeah, Google numbers are the bomb. I mean, they don't have to be Google. Some people use WhatsApp, whatever. I mean, whatever you want to use, but some kind of number that's not yours is like a VoIP computer phone number. And that provides you with a layer of protection between you and just random strangers. Because you don't know what these people are on into. You don't know, is this a Jeffrey Dahmer lookalike? I mean, what's going on here? And ladies be running all up to these dudes' houses and letting them come into yours and stuff. What you doing? Please. I will talk to somebody for months and they still never know where I live, and you ain't coming to my house. And that's just the way it is. I'm just very protective like that. I don't know. I just don't trust these men. The pizza doesn't taste like cauliflower. Do you know cauliflower doesn't have any taste other than what you put in it? So it doesn't. I'm not with you. I mean, just looking at cauliflower, I'm like, this is like albino broccoli. That's what I used to think of as a kid. I didn't want no parts of it. But if you put it into the food processor and then you mash it up with some Parmesan cheese, it makes a nice crust for pizza. You got a burner number? Okay, that works too. So anybody got anything else to say? You guys had some good discussions, good comments. Let me get Callie. What happened? Something says this device is not connected. Callie, you got to connect your microphone or something that says it's not connected. Okay, there we go. Yeah, now we can.
Okay, I'm sorry. I still had it on mute. I apologize.
Oh, okay.
Well, first, I just want to say thank you for all that you do. My friend, a good friend of mine, she put me onto your channel a few years ago. And I started watching like here and there, but I really started catching up recently on your shows and all of the information and wealth of knowledge that you share with us. And I've been sharing it to some of my other friends, but I don't think that they're, ready to receive
and that's fine, because I admit this Callie, come on now. Everybody everybody ain't ready for my flavor of reality. And I understand that. I used to be like, oh, what do you mean? When I was younger, but now I'm like, whatever. They'll get to it when they get to it. And if not, then that's them in their red wagon. I can't worry about that. But yeah, when I was real young, when I first started out, I was like trying to save the world. And I had my little cape on. And I was just like, I'm going to save all of womankind with my cape flying in the wind.
Hey, but you're doing it one video at a time. That's how I look at it. One video at a time. And I got one friend, I think she's a little more receptive. So she's been checking out some of your videos, but some of my other friends, they just, but they complain about the same thing when it comes to relationships and whatnot. And I'm just like, here are the tools right here, it could be a harsh reality, but sometimes you need that, you can't dance around stuff all the time. So, but I appreciate
to be nice and sweet.
Yeah. And I'm just like, and me, I'm a sensitive person, but I can receive your message well. So I'm like, okay, y'all aren't as sensitive as I am. So I don't even understand what the issue is. But I just think they just still like to play the fool when it comes to guys and dating and stuff like that. But my question or my issue is tonight, I'm a single parent. I have a son that's 15, and I'm from a small city in Virginia called Roanoke, Virginia. And the Black population is smaller. It's a more Caucasian city. So within the Black population, there is a lot of crime, especially amongst the young teenagers. Like, I feel so bad for them, growing up in this day and age of social media, and dealing with a lot of gangs and things of that nature. And I had a friend that recently lost her son, who was in high school with my son. He's just a year older than my son. He got shot and killed, and that's something I already suffer from, anxiety and things of that nature, and just trying to figure out the balance of how not to be a helicopter parent, but still be able to protect and, allow my son to do things, but not let him run free, but not, just allow him to have some freedom. But not, it's just a tough, time that we live in.
Did you have you guys talked about the situation that happened with the kid that got shot?
Yes, yes.
Does he understand
And
what all that happened, and he gets it?
yeah, he does. And the crazy thing was, 2 weeks before my friend's son got killed, another kid at their school got shot and killed, a 15-year-old boy. That was Labor Day weekend. And then 2 weeks later is when my friend's son got killed. And, he's wanting to do things like, oh, I want to go here with my friends, or I want to do this, or so and so's having a party. And I'm just like terrified, you
Now you
know.
want to no parties. I'm
Right.
sorry. You ain't going, and that's just it. If you going, I'm going.
Right.
And I'm gonna sit right
Right.
there on the couch with my legs crossed and watch everything. It just ruin all your fun. That's what's gonna happen.
Absolutely.
This is the kind of thing where, and he's gonna be sick of you, but I think it's going to be a good lesson. To sit him down and say, okay, now this is what I used to like to do with my daughter. My parents did this with me. We would play what if. Okay, so you're at the party, and what you gonna do if such and such and such it happens, and just come up with scenarios. I mean, you could look online and find scenarios and then run them by him. What would you have done if that happened? How would you handle such a thing? What do you think is the best solution to that problem? How could you have prevented this from happening? So what you want to start doing is training your son to think about what exit strategies, and how you get out of hot situations. Let me give you an example, and you could use this on him. Okay, I'm at this event, and it was like a Buppy kind of event where we paid like $25 to get in here, and they had a band, and I mean it was nice thing. So I'm there with some girlfriends, and I always, when I go to these kind of events, because I've been in too much shit, I always park a couple of blocks away so I can escape on whatever's going on foot and make it to my car and then go the back way to get up out of there. This is something I've started doing since I could drive. So I'm with these girls, and they're in high heels. They complaining, why we got to walk all this way? I said, because this is what we're going to do. This is how I do it. And you ride with me. So this is what's going to happen. So we're in this event, right? And all of a sudden there's this commotion at the door. And you could see they had like three little thin, little Ethiopian looking security guards. It was big as a flea. And it was like about 60 hoodlums from the Third Street projects trying to get into this event. I mean, with the braided back, the hoods, the scarves on, just looking a hot mess. No way did they fit in with this crowd. Deb looks at the crowd. I tell my friends, get your shit, we leaving. And they're like, well, come on, I just got my drink. I'm like, drown it, let's go. Well, I said, I'm leaving. If you want to ride back, you coming with me. So we went out the side door. We went through the parking lot, back down the street. By the time we got past all of that, the cops swarmed the place. They shut that down. There was people running and screaming because these dudes broke through the security guards and was like snatching people's gold chains and watches off. Because like I said, these were puppies. These people had money. Snatching their jewelry off, grabbing the women and trying to drag them off. I mean, it was a hot mess. It was in the news and everything the next day. But where was we? In my car. And where was we? On the freeway going back to Oakland. So we heard about it on the TV next day on Channel 2. We was out of there because Deb saw some shit and had my exit strategy. So that's the kind of thing, you got to start teaching your kids early to recognize when some drama about to happen and figure out how you're going to get out of it safely and make it home in one piece. So these are the kind of things, he's going to be like, Mama, you tripping. You just, that's like, yeah, okay. But see, I'm not trying to have a funeral with you in the box. So you're going to listen and you're going to do what I say. And we're going to do these exercises so that when something happens, you will already know what to do. It will be ingrained in you how to respond and how to get yourself home safely. That is my number one priority. So, start thinking, Callie, of some situation, maybe some stuff that you heard about in the news, you see it online or whatever, print it out, and y'all sit down in some evening when he's amenable, and you start going through those situations and say, these boys didn't make it home. How would you have handled this differently so that you did? You see what I mean?
Right.
It's a hard thing. Both of you might shed a few tears. It's going to be tough, but it's something that he needs to learn, and he needs to learn it now if he's going to not only survive, but thrive. Because, you could be alive and in a wheelchair. We're not trying to have that either.
That's true.
We don't want that.
True. I know some people in that situation too.
Right.
So, yeah. Absolutely.
But you're right to be afraid, concerned. He's in that demographic where it's high risk. And I think anything that you can do, that's my contribution as your village auntie. But, that's something that I think is important. If you know any Black males who have been in prison and made it out, that, you're comfortable around him talking to, so they can tell him what they learned and the mistakes they made and what not to do, that might be another option.
Yeah. Because he's a good kid. He makes good grades. He wants to go to college. He plays basketball, so he's got other extracurricular activities that he's in to kind of keep him busy. But same thing with my friend's son. He was an athlete and just so happened, to somebody that he thought was his friend, things like that happen. So it just has me on edge, and I'm like, who your friends? I'm constantly on him about that as well. Just telling him to observe people's behaviors and how they interact with, their peers as well as adults in the school, and decide like if that's somebody that you want to be friends with, So
he's also got to watch out at that age for the girls, because like say some little boy who's he knows likes a little girl and the little girl likes him, that little boy will want to eliminate the competition. Your son might not even know really what's going on, but he should be aware of the fact that if he has a male friend who likes a girl and she starts trying to talk to him, he should shut her down. Don't do it. There's too many other girls that you could like. You don't want no kind of conflict with some trigger happy fool who gets jealous and immature. So, they'll be like, well, but she likes me though. Like, as blunt as it is, that's the only coochie in your whole school. That's it. You can't get nobody else. It has to be the girl that your friend likes.
Right.
That's the kind of stuff that people end up unalive over because jealousy. Also, if your son is a good athlete and he should be awarded any kind of scholarship to university, Callie, keep your mouth shut. Don't go bragging about it. Don't tell nobody. Tell your son not to tell nobody. Don't even tell your parents or anybody until he actually goes away. Then you can tell people. Too many young men, and I was tracking this for many years, their families make a big deal about it, have a big party and all stuff. Them boys never make it to college because jealous little boys off them during the summertime before they can leave. That's happened all over the country, and I've seen it happen dozens and dozens of times. I was tracking it for years, and how many times it happened in the Black community. They're jealous and spiteful, and they're like, if your son wants to make it out, he's not going to make it. So I caution any parent who has a son or daughter who's athletic, or any kind of scholarship they're going to get, keep your mouth shut. Don't say nothing to nobody until your kid is safely away at the school. Then you can say, oh, yeah, they got a little scholarship. Yeah, really helped us out. You're not going to say, oh, they got a 4-year full ride. And they just, you're not going to say all that. You're going to downplay it.
That's a
And
good idea.
we
I
got a
didn't even
little
think about that.
change. It helped. It really helped my budget. I didn't have to come out of pocket so much. You're going to downplay it. You might not have to pay a red cent, but that's not the way you're going to tell the story. Be
Yeah.
careful with that, because people be all excited. They excited. They want to tell everybody. Don't tell
Yeah, that's a
nobody.
good idea. Thank you. I didn't even think about that, but yeah, because it is a lot of that crabs in a barrel mentality, especially around here. So thank you for that, because I would have been the first one. Oh, my baby.
Yeah. Oh, you can tell me. We'll applaud with you. But girl, don't you tell them people that you know. Don't tell your family, and don't tell your friends, and definitely do not tell anybody that's or in your circle, because there's the folks will be trying to, he think he gonna be all, he think he gonna be making the millions in the NBA. I'm a cripple, and I'm gonna do this. And they plot to destroy your kid because they don't want your kid to have something that they don't. So it's something to be very careful with. It just happens too many times.
Yeah. Sad. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I appreciate your time this evening.
Oh, no problem. I'm all about the kiddos, the youngsters, the young set. So I'm glad you called in so we could just start making a plan for him. Got to keep him, on the straight and narrow.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I'm glad I caught your live tonight. I didn't even get a notification. I just happened to go on YouTube and was like, oh, Deb's live. Let me hurry up and join.
Yeah, Deb didn't know Deb was going to be live either till about 4 or 5 hours ago.
All right. Well, you have a good evening, okay?
You too.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Yeah, she comes on the channel a lot. I'm glad I finally got to talk to her. It happened to your friend's son. See, I'm telling you. Man, seriously, from about 2010 to 2020 or so, every single summer, there was dozens of stories like that. I used to track them, like I said, because it was just something I noticed kept happening. So then I started paying attention and looking for the stories, and it was just too many of them. It's just too much. It's too much. Yeah, I don't like that either. Because it's like, people do that. They call the little girls fast tails instead of looking at the grown men that be after them. It's like, why don't you call them some names? Yep. Terrence, yep. I remember that. That was so sad, but it just happens. There's a kid that happened in Oakland too about 4 or 5 years ago. Same thing. No, they're not fast. You know what happens? These little girls are not fast. What happens is they've been abused and people around them didn't protect them. So you have some damaged children who go forward and think that that's their only value, that they have to please men. And so grown women want to label them as fast instead of looking at what man destroyed that child's innocence. That's what you need to be looking at, and stop calling girls names. I'm going to block this comment because I don't like it. I delete this shit. I'll delete it later. So there's no such thing as a fast girl. There's only damaged children that have been abused by grown adult men. Remember that. So before you start labeling a child, look at what happened to her and who did it, and label that motherfucker, okay? Just do that. Then we can talk. Till then, it's like they didn't learn that shit from just out of thin air. They learned it because somebody did it to them. What is it that you black women don't fucking get about that? You just want to blame the little girl. That's some bullshit. That shit pisses me off. Okay, let's just get real about this. No little girl was born or raised up to be like that. Somebody did that shit to her. Somebody taught her that. Somebody did something to her to where she thinks that's all that she's worth. Okay. And then you got these bitch ass black women want to turn around and call them names and label them and just denigrate and degrade them. You just adding fire to the flame. You're just doing worse. What they call it, gasoline to the fire. By instead of looking at what happened to that kid and getting on those men's asses for just violating that child. That's what you should be doing. You want to call somebody a goddamn name? That's who you call a name, not the little girl. She was innocent in the whole thing. Somebody destroyed that child. And instead of you getting on to them, you want to blame her. That's some bitch shit. I don't like that. Yeah, I mean, if the women put half as much energy into protecting the girls as they do calling them names, then this shit wouldn't be happening. Instead, they trust these raggedy ass men and teenage boys around them and stuff, and then all this vile shit be happening to the little girls. And then the little girl turns up pregnant. Who think got her that way? 80% of the pregnancies of teenage girls happen for men over 18. Those are adults. That means they're victimizing a child, and y'all want to sit there and call them names. Fuck out of here with that shit. I don't care if it is. I just want to say, because it is, Layla, too many women do think like that. Now, whether it's a troll in this particular instance or not, it's not the first time that I've heard that, and it probably won't be the last. But I just want my opinion about the matter to be on record. And anybody else who might think about coming here with that, understand what time it is and how I'm going to read your ass. Okay? It's not going to be a good time for you. So anyway, now that I'm thoroughly irritated, anybody else got a question, a comment, a thought to share, whatever? Because I'm like, we got about another 5 minutes or so we can wind things up and close this out so I can go and get me some food. I made some navy bean soup. Because I had a dream that I was eating my grandmother's navy bean soup. So I got up and don't ask me where that came from. I haven't had that soup in 30 years. But I made some and it tasted pretty close to hers. Mm-hmm. Yep, Mina, that's what I'm saying. People they be too trusting with these, teenagers and young men around little girls. They just trust too much. I don't trust shit. I need to see you every second. Yeah, they're supposed to be like one of the top beans, which I didn't realize. I looked up the nutritional value and it was like really fantabulous. So, and then black eyed peas and all kinds of stuff. But anyway, I'm talking about something all different. But yeah, I was just so impressed with my beans. So that's what I'm going to have for dinner. And I'm going to make me some cornbread too. You're going to be jealous. You're going to be hating because I'm going to have navy beans and I'm going to have cornbread. Not your typical Sunday night dinner, but that's what I'm having. Onyx, you are so late. We about to leave. I'm like, what you doing showing up? They're talking about late bird. But yeah, this was an interesting show. I'm glad we did this. And so everybody got to call in with a wide variety of topics that were up for discussion tonight. Thank you, everybody who made a super chat because of the topics that we're talking about. And of course, my go off at the end. We're not going to have no ads on this video. But, at least you guys made a few contributions. So it should be all right. But I am glad that we were about to, I'm glad, I'm looking at Vanna's thing. I'm glad that you guys came through, even though it was very last minute. And I appreciate everybody's participation in this discussion and learned a lot. And I'm sure that you did too. Let's see what we got coming up next. Of course, we got our What the Fuck Tuesday coming up. On Tuesday, we'll be having, what's that's going to be? That's this day. So this is what that's cover site looks like. That's going to be Tuesday at 6 p.m. Pacific. So come on back for that. And then on Thursday, we're going to talk about this, men and boys in crisis and what it means for women and girls in relationships. Because I don't know if the men aren't really being men anymore. What does that make? What's going to happen? How's that going to work for our daughters and for those young women who are single, who are looking to get married and have families? The guys aren't really cut from that cloth anymore. We'll be talking about that and what some options are and whatever other solutions we can come up with. And Kiki got a comment. Let me get Kiki in here before I leave. What's up, girl?
Hey, how you doing? Doing all right?
Yeah. You got to hurry up because I'm ready to go.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna get some to eat too. Yeah, I just wanted to comment earlier about I think maybe younger women not having knowledge of like basic things with like
Mm-hmm.
with hygiene care and just self-care, self-respect, dating in general. I noticed what kind of saved me when I was a little girl, surprised me with a few things, is actually Girl Scouts. So I would
Oh,
encourage like women. Yeah, that actually that helped me. Like, I'm from the South, and I was raised by my grandmother to the point she didn't even discuss a period with me. And I actually what had saved me right before I started, I saw a video we watched in Girl Scouts, and I'm like, well, thank God I saw that because I wouldn't know what the heck was going on with me. So
yeah, I
I'm
remember
just
that.
saying,
Yeah,
like
they did do that at the Girl Scouts. They
that.
did do that.
hmm that little video, and we was looking like, why are we watching this mess? And we did, we just did, that's how we took it as it in something negative, but it turned out to be a positive thing. So, but I think the younger generation, I think they're going to be okay because they're exposed to more things in the media, people talking, but but seeing somebody that's a little bit older, like my age, it was just like I was basically a crash dummy for everything. But I do try to encourage younger women, like things if I see something's not right or somebody younger in my family, anybody, I let them know what's going on. And like even like my ex's niece, she didn't even know, like when they she took a trip with some girls swimming, she didn't even know to wash the bleach out of her hair. So she came back from the trip, almost all her hair had fell out. She had
Oh
braids and the
no.
braids, and I was like, and I asked my ex-sister, I said, why do you tell her to wash the bleach out when they went swimming at the hotel? She was like, oh, I didn't know. She had never been swimming. She didn't even know that. I was like, what? And that's basic things. And I was like, why?
Wow.
She said she didn't know that you go swimming. And she said, you got to wash that chlorine out. So that's why I said, anything anybody I see, I just try to let them know. Just it's small things, but just it's very big. But it's just they just don't know. So, and then the church, I'm not in the church anymore, but I just noticed you have to be careful with them because addressed to the lady that said the fast girl. I said, no, ma'am. That's one of the church mothers, saying, I said they can't be fast by themselves. So I think what it is with the church, they just have to like be more positive and teach. Don't just condemn, talk about, because the reality is they don't know. They really don't know. And then with the abstinence and all that mess, I'm like, abstinence is probably like 2 or 3% of people in the world is actually remaining being abstinent. So I would just teach on safety. That was my main concern. Self-respect, to be consent. That's if you want to do it, do it if you want to. And that thing is reputation. That's very important, especially in college when you're engaging in sex. So that was my main thing that they want to teach you. But I just wanted just to touch a little bit on those things. And then with hygiene, just with your taking care of your body. A lot of women don't know how to groom down there.
Yeah.
And then I had to teach another family member. She
Oh.
didn't know swimming. She didn't know that you're not supposed to wear a wet swimsuit all day and wind up getting a yeast. Just stuff like they're being hot too. Small things. It's hot yoga. Everybody can't do hot yoga. Wearing swimsuits all day and getting used. It's small things, but it's like you have to say something.
Yeah,
So this
we got to do better. We got to do better teaching these people.
Yeah, yeah. So I try to say what I can when I see something. I'm like, don't do this, don't do that, do that. Besides, also teaching with dating also though. Okay, that's
Right.
all I have to say.
Thank you. Okay. Talk
All
to you
right,
later.
thank you. Bye.
Okay. Well, I guess that's it now. And so I'm going to head off out of here and have me some din. And I know it's on the East Coast. It's pretty late. It's already 9 something over there, but it's only 6:17 p.m. here on the West Coast. So I will be seeing all of you on Tuesday. Once again, thank you for coming and sharing some of your time with me on this Sunday evening. I'll see y'all on Tuesday. Bye bye.